Steph with Steph's Middle School Souffle, Series 7, ADHD in Middle School, Episode 3, What's ADHD? So if you're new to this, I have my own YouTube channel. I've been teaching middle school for quite a long time. I've only taught middle school. I've taught special education and regular education. I have 2 children myself. One will be a 6th grader and one will be an 8th grade, so I'm surrounded by middle schoolers. My first series in last April was Say No to a Smartphone. I still stand pretty strong with that. Series 2 was 6th grade. Series 3 was Summer and Fall Preparation. Series 4 is Welcome Back to School in the Fall. Series 5 was about Quarter 2, Fall and Winter. Series 6 was Self and Social Awareness in middle school. And Series 7, which is I'm on right now, is ADHD in middle school. So let's get started. ADHD has been around for a while. The first thing, the diagnosis was called hyperkinetic disease of infancy back in 1932. It's changed some names. If you grew up in the 80s, it was called ADD. Later on, it was called ADHD. And since 1994, it's been called ADHD with 3 subtypes. So let's talk about those subtypes. Hyperactive, inattentive, and combined. Now, this is a psychiatric diagnosis. It is not a self-diagnosis. So, 3 subtypes, and each of the subtypes has a checklist with 9 descriptors. So in hyperactivity, there'd be 9 descriptors of what that means. A child or you would have to get 6 of the 9. Inattentive, 6 out of the 9 descriptors for inattentiveness. Combined, 6 out of the 9, and 6 out of the 9 combined. So, 3 subtypes. Hyperactive is probably the one you most know, which is really annoying. The kids that are bouncing all over the place, talking excessively on the go. Inattentive, daydreams a lot. You pretty much have to tell them over and over and over again, to do their chore, turn in that missing assignment. I have ADHD, and I get frustrated with kids with ADHD. Yeah, I do. Because they don't get their stuff in. And even though I have empathy for them, I'm still annoyed. Okay, so I have the combined type. I can experience both hyperactivity and inattentive. Yes, we can leave in 15 minutes. Yes, so 3 different subtypes. So you're thinking, maybe as an adult, this is me. I am all of these things. Possible. Probably, actually, I should say, an American grown-up with children, we're running around with their heads cut off to sports, school events, trying to be the best that we can be in a go capitalist culture where there's winners and losers. Yeah, we probably have a lot of this forgetfulness, disorganization, because we have a human brain. Okay, so let's get to what is officially ADHD with a diagnosis. All of those things that were described have to be present or had to have been present in 7th grade or younger. So 7th grade is typically age 12. So if you as an adult are like, I have ADHD, I have ADD, I'm going in there to get a diagnosis, the psychiatrist is going to ask you, tell me about yourself at age 12 or younger. So you would talk to your parents and family. What was I like? Some teachers back then. Again, childhood, 7th grade, 12. All right, second thing, it has to be in multiple settings. 12-year-olds, 11, whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years, they're in school. So teachers will be asked to fill out forms, and they have all these fancy schmancy different rating scales that we fill out. It's like on a scale of 1 to 5, how impulsive is this child? Okay, they do quantitative study and they do qualitative assessments. So we'll just give some feedback or what we're seeing and what we're observing about a certain child. It has to be at home, at the school, maybe around the neighbors, maybe your child's friends and peers see something with your child, church, clubs, after school activities. It has to be present in multiple areas. It can't just be school. It can't just be at home when you're forgetful. It's present all around because, again, it's the brain. This is a brain science also. Interfere or reduce daily functioning. Just living day to day is exhausting for a child or an adult with ADHD. It is exhausting because the brain has to work really, really, really hard to try to keep up. And it cannot be better explained by another mental health condition. So I will get paperwork. I might get 3 sets as a regular ed teacher for depression, an anxiety screener, ADHD screener. Yes, so we get multiple ones at school, or if you're thinking about your child being diagnosed, ask your teachers first, then go to a psychiatrist, and then the whole team will rally around your child and do a whole bunch of assessments. Okay? So, symptoms, again, ages 5, 6, 7. Well, let's start with 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those ages, you would see this across multiple settings. Carelessness, risky behavior, trouble getting along, being disorganized, excessive talking, daydreaming, difficult sitting still, forgetfulness. Now, again, you might see this in all children, but these children who have ADHD, it's going to be all day long. Okay, it's just not at home, not just at school, not just at church, all day. Every day. And why? Okay. So just some statistics. The average age of an ADHD diagnosis is 7. Age when symptoms of ADHD typically first appear are ages 3 to 6. 6.1% of American children are being treated for ADHD with medication, and this fascinates me. 42% increase in ADHD diagnoses over the past 8 years. Now this was in 2017. So what's going on in those years? I hypothesize that it's a lot of neuroscience studies. Like the tech that we're using right now to study the brain, it's exploding and it's super cool. I also think people are more open to talking about mental health or just neurological, I don't know, just the brain in general and trying to understand how we learn and how we think. Again, I think this is awesome. The more we know in this area, the better strategies we could have as teachers, as parents, as kids, as adults with ADHD. Okay, that maybe it would help and it wouldn't be so exhausting day by day just to live and get by. So I also seen that 8% to 12% of the global population is affected by ADHD. That's quite a, I don't know, 8 to 12%, 8 to 12%. Is that quite a bit or not? I'm not sure. That's up to you to decide. So I was looking at so what's the brain differences? And I've been researching for many years now. Some studies will say there is no differences on brain scans, and some will say yes, there's definite differences. This one comes from 2018. There was a Radboud University Medical Center study, and it made me sad to hear this because I felt like they was talking about my brain and my middle school students' brains. People with ADHD have smaller brain volume in 5 subcortical areas, and their total brain size was smaller too. These differences were greater in children and less in adults. Parts of the ADHD brain mature at a slower pace, 1 to 3 years, and never reach the maturity of a person who does not have ADHD. As you can see, I just kind of had that Debbie Downer moment where This is not fun to read, and I am skeptical. Is this true? Another interesting finding was that the amygdala and hippocampus are smaller in the brains of people with ADHD. These areas are responsible for emotional processing and impulsivity. Okay. So I looked at this one too. A 10-year study by National Institute of Mental Health found that brains of children and adolescents with ADHD are 3 to 4% smaller than those of children who don't have this disorder. It's important to point out that intelligence is not affected by brain size. Okay, let's repeat that. Intelligence is not affected by brain size. So maybe, perhaps, my brain might be a little smaller, teeny tiny bit smaller than everybody else's, but my intelligence is not affected. Fact is, it's still exhausting in areas because it's not getting what it needs naturally, or it's not connecting naturally. So again, is this true? Is there going to be different science studies coming out shortly? Probably. More than likely today there's a study going on looking at scans. So, who's to say? I just know that living with ADHD, again, I will repeat, it is exhausting to keep up. I was going to play this video, but it talks about our neurotransmitters, that there are deficiencies in neurotransmitters in our brains, like dopamine and norepinephrine. I don't even know how to say that, but I do know that it's important. But a deficiency in this your brain has, this is not fun to hear. But I feel like the more we listen to this and the more we hear about these studies, the better able we will have strategies to help us and our children. Again, I got this from my classmate, Sarah Rice, Refocused with Lindsay Getzall. Great resource. I love that she's from the Twin Cities. I'm from the Twin Cities here too now. Again, Refocused. And yeah, here is my channel. Next episode, I'm still going to go in, I think, on what it's like to have ADHD as a child and as an adult from personal experience. And then I will get into what is a 504 plan versus an IEP, special education, and a 504 plan, and the realities of having a 504. So, yeah, I hope you learned a little bit. I'm still learning. If you want to, please keep researching. You can only get better by research. Yeah, look it up. Bye.